Yes, you know the drill. I guess we aren't on screen, but we're on screen now. Anyways, welcome to Games Talk Live, folks. Season 2. We're on Season 2, episode, I think, 4. 4, I believe 4. Anyways, yeah, I'll never remember how many I've done total. But today we were supposed to have another guest. Okay, she flaked out on me. Damn it. We were supposed to have Eric Cuts for the win. Of course, if you follow her on Twitter, she's pregnant, apparently. And she has to do pregnant woman things. I don't know. But we have the next best thing to a pregnant woman today on the show. My good friend Gaz. So
also pregnant.
Oh, you're not. How many weeks?
I'm 6 months based on
It's great to have you today. Let me pull up the chat because I'm sure there's a few people in there. There's got to be a couple just, hanging out.
I see Boba Fett, A2, Void Rat, Huggy.
Yes, the good people in the house. Hargeet, Boba Fett Gaming, and A2 in the house right now. Hopefully some more will join us. I see some others lurking, not chatting. Gaz, you're in the chat talking to people. It's great to see you guys. Of course, whoever we do get today, Gaz, are here for you because you are the sauce man. Nice. And it's great to have you. How have you been, bro? How have you been?
Good, man. How have you been?
We haven't talked in a party chat in a while. We haven't really talked much since the last time you were on. So
it's like WhatsApp and stuff, but not
it's like seeing a friend again, So
it is. I'm very excited to be here, as you can probably tell from my energy. But yeah, no, man, it's been good. It's been busy, live stuff, videos, YouTube. The grind continues. You know how it is, man.
How's GameOnDaily.com doing, bro? Tell them about GameOnDaily.com. We got to talk about that. Your one-stop shop for all gaming news, right?
Yeah. All your gaming news in one place. Yep. And if you want to be a journalist or make your own content or whatever, we give you the tools. It's so easy. Just register. Do it. He said, yeah.
Do it now.
Huh?
Yeah. So
Boba Fett wore his sauce hoodie to the barbecue joint yesterday. Where are the pictures?
And you know what people said?
What the hell is that?
Right? That's what they said. Yeah, no.
Like we want
And then you got to explain to him, this is a Game on Daily, Go Live, sauce shirt from the Gaz man himself. And then you got to explain how great his videos are. By the way, your last video you made wasn't about the sauce, but it was about Max Payne 3. Classic. And honestly, great video, man. Love the narration, the writing, everything you did there, the editing. On point, man. Really on point.
Thank you, man.
So go follow him on Game on Daily here on YouTube. If you're not already, I'm sure you guys are. Most of the people in the chat, if they know me, they know you. We've been on each other's shows several times, but listen to Go Live, man, every Saturday with Asa, the great Asa. Love listening to you guys. He's your yin to your yang. You guys are just like polar opposites, but it works. It works.
It does. It definitely does. Colt, Jack.
Colt,
how you doing? Hamster.
Now, speaking of Go Live, I was listening in on Go Live yesterday, and our good friend Hargeet was on the show. I've got to have him on this show as well. Love the guy. We had a great conversation yesterday in Party Chat. Shout out to you, Hargeet. But on the show, he was talking about the ABK deal and talking about Activision Blizzard, of course, and King. And he's kind of worried, Gaz, that this deal might not go through for Microsoft. What was his reasoning there? Can you fill the audience in a little bit on what he was talking about?
Well, so Hoggy made and I didn't know about this, and in fairness, and apologies, Hoggy, if I'm doing this wrongly, but he summarized that basically the FTC are flexing their muscles really strongly now and overextending themselves. They're going crazy. They're literally gung-ho now because he cited an example where they stopped Facebook Meta from basically just doing a VR fitness game, saying, why don't, instead of buying out something, why don't you just make your own VR fitness game, and blocked it. And I'm like, hold on, is the FTC set up to do this move where something so fairly innocuous as acquiring a Beat Saber is being blocked by the FTC? So he and Hoggy, and I share his concerns, and I've said this for quite some time, that he's a bit worried that the FTC are 100% going to make an example out of this $70 billion deal that Microsoft and the ABK deal is, because that is even comparable. It's massively different. So people are saying, well, the deal will still go through. That's fine. But the question is, when? And Huggy thinks it's going to be a while.
The FTC are being massive dicks right now. So,
yep.
and they're just being really harsh on what they're letting through. And he's worried that it might not go through because this is a much more bigger deal than
It's
VR.
a political affair, though, Fonz.
Yeah.
It's all politics. So you give politicians to make decisions like this, they're going to be dickheads.
But I will back this up and say, though, it's, even in politics, it's about who you know, right? And hopefully Microsoft's got people on the inside. I don't know.
I'm sure they do.
I don't know.
I'm sure
and money
they do.
talks. Let's remember that. So.
Well, Facebook and Meta has money as well.
But shout out to Hargeet for that and his concerns, though. Do you have concerns yourself, though?
Yes, I do. Huggy has a good head on his shoulders, but except when it comes to PlayStation exclusives. No, but he does. And he makes a very solid point. A few weeks before the appearance on the show, he was actually very enthusiastic. I said, well, hold on. Barring no litigation, this could actually happen pretty decent, smooth timeline. Problem is, I've always said I'm concerned about that. One, the timing, but two, also how long it will take for the deal to go through. Sorry, not the timing. What conditions are going to be attached to this? Because I think the FTC are going to be saying, well, no games can be exclusive at all. If you are telling, because the FTC, they aren't gamers, man. They're going to be like, well, because their statement, Microsoft led with their press statement saying we're all about inclusivity and not dividing communities and blah, 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 blah. Well, the FTC takes that at face value. They were like, all right, well, make all your games exclusive. Multi-plat. Then what? And to me, that's a big fat L. Microsoft shouldn't be beholden to making all their games multi-platform. But that might happen. Happen. Beyond the COD, beyond Diablo.
Oh, beyond the CODs and Diablo, you're thinking. I definitely see the COD staying multi-plat, for sure. But let's remember as well, Patrick said it in the chat here. He said the FTC hates Facebook, though. And that is true. Everybody hates Zuckerberg.
They do.
Everybody. So
everyone hates Zuckerberg for good reason. And they have a history. There's some jurisprudence there where they tried to actually go back and cancel the WhatsApp acquisition I think that's still going. Patrick says FTC can't make those kind of demands. They can attach conditions, though, or they can just reject it. Well, they can say, Patrick, well, in light of everything we have seen and based on your own manifesto, in order for this to be non-anti-competitive in our eyes and to benefit the wider market, it would only seem fair that all these games be available. And if it's not the case, we would contest this because it seems like you're using your financial grunt to monopolize the market, where Sony, despite being market leaders, playing devil's advocate here, but despite being market leaders, they're in a far more vulnerable position because PlayStation is all of Sony's business. But at the same time, there's so many facets to it. Why does the FTC care about Japanese competitors? What about China and the stranglehold they're having and Tencent? There's so many things to it. But it can go a lot of ways. All I'm saying is it's not going to be smooth sailing. And some people are like, it's going to happen the summer of this year. I'm not going to mention names, but
we're hoping that happens, though.
I would love it to be wrong. Yeah,
we're hoping that happens because I want to see some of those games start trickling down into Game Pass. That's where I'm at right now. I haven't paid for a COD in some years. Okay, I used to play the campaigns mostly. Way back in the day, I would play the multiplayer when I could keep up with the kids. Now, not so much, man. But still, I would love to play the games for free, or not for free, but within Game Pass. And we'll talk about Game Pass and services later because we got a lot to talk about there. But I just wanted to touch on that subject real quick because I thought it was an interesting one. And it was one that I've only heard Hargeet really talk about. And I thought that was very interesting. So shout out to him for having a great topic there. And by the way, he's got a super chat here. Hargeet says, hey, Fonz, Hey, Gaz, we start with a bit of sad news. Bill Russell and Nichelle Nichols passing away today. Yes, rest in peace
I know.
to the great basketball legend, Bill Russell, and of course, of Star Trek fame. Star Trek, Nichelle
she
Nichols.
was a legend.
Legend.
Yeah, she was a
Yeah.
legend.
So, unfortunately, we did lose them. And also in the community, I have to give a shout out to Xbox
yeah.
Obi. He lost his grandfather over the weekend. Yeah, terrible stuff. But yeah, shout out to him.
sad.
Much love to Obi. Great friend. So, yeah, we're thinking about you, brother. Yeah, it's good to see Colt in the chat today, and Tony Okami as well. Patrick, thank you for showing up as well. Ham Solo.
Tony Okami.
Brigadier's Blue, thank you for showing up, man. Every week he comes by and he says, another Sunday and another great episode of GTL. Can't wait to hear today's topics. Let the sauce flow today, guys. Yes, there will be a lot of sauce today. Definitely a lot of sauce.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we get into all that, and before we get into the sauce, you know we have to play a game here.
Psych, man, I hate this.
Shall we play a game?
Yeah.
Fonz,
Oh, here we go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Anyways, let's go ahead and play 5 questions. Okay, now let's do it right.
5
Let's do it right.
questions.
Gotta have the music in it, right? I want to thank everybody for showing up. Seriously, this is awesome. I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody listening after the fact. I don't even say that often enough. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as Gaz is having a seizure or doing something else. I don't even want to question that. This is a family show, Gaz. Family show. You turned bright red. I've never seen, somebody turn that red on a show ever. Ever.
Oh, bro,
crap,
this is what
guys.
happens when you get tagged.
I guess so. Family show doesn't mean anything to the Gaz. Yeah. To the Mr. Sauce Man himself.
Sorry.
Well, Gaz, you haven't been here in a while. It's been about a month and a half. We've revamped things a little bit. We've got new music, new intense music for the show here while we're playing this game.
Oh, shit.
There it is. All right, Gaz. Are you ready to play 5 questions, 4 trivia, and 1 subjective question? All right, Gaz. It's going to start off kind of easy. Okay? They'll get progressively harder. Number 1. GoldenEye 007 was released on August 25th, 1997 on this platform.
Nintendo 64.
Of course.
Come on, bruv.
Too easy. The retro
Playback.
futuristic games known as the BioShock series are beloved by many. Can you tell me, Gaz, how many games are in the series, and can you name each one?
BioShock 1, 2, Infinite. 3?
Correct, and you named them. Got them all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that wasn't so bad. Okay.
Here's three. You usually do very well with 5 questions, by the way. You were good on the spot. Asa, not so much. I got to get Asa back on. He needs to redeem himself.
He does.
So, number 3. Developed by Core Design and published by Eidos Interactive, Tomb Raider was released in 1996 on this platform first.
Sega Saturn.
Oh my God, you got it! A lot of people say PlayStation. Do you hear that, guys? He got it! Oh, love it. Love it. Love the sauce, man. He is so good at 5 questions, I'm telling you guys. All right. Now here's a tricky one. Number 4. What is the best-selling first-person shooter of all time?
Oh my God,
This is
I
tricky.
will. What's the best-selling first-person shooter of all time?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a weird one. It's gonna be something like Doom. No.
First one wrong. Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt.
Fuck you. What
Is
the hell
considered
are you
the first-
talking about?
Hey, it's
What are you
considered the
talking
biggest
about?
selling first-person shooter ever at 28 million units. The second is COD, Modern Warfare. That is at 15.7 million units. So
What?
Yes.
No one in chat would have got that.
Duck Hunt.
No one.
Duck Hunt. Look it up. It is
What?
yes, 28 million though. That's insane,
Holy
those sales.
shiznats.
All right, so your subjective question, you did very well there, so don't worry
That's not
about
bad.
it.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
You got 5
my
questions
anus
all
is
right
red.
before. You got 4 right now, so you're good, man. You're golden. I don't think you've ever got
yeah.
less than 4.
Yeah.
So you're golden.
See.
What is the best GTA game in your opinion?
Very good question. I would actually say GTA 5. Because
I'll
it's a
accept
sum
it. I'll
of
accept
everything. San Andreas.
San
I
Andreas
know
is my
GTA
personal
3
favorite.
for me. GTA 3 was the one that changed. Can I change my answer to GTA 3? GTA 3 was my favorite actually.
Colt,
It was a game changer.
Yeah, it was. Colt is in the chat saying he's canceling Fonz for that question. Colt, look it up.
Thank you. Thank you, Cole.
Just type in Google best-selling first-person shooter of all time. Duck Hunt is number 1 on everybody's list.
That's
Duck Hunt.
ridiculous.
That's
Selling
right.
first
I wouldn't have guessed
person.
that. Let's get out of this stupid mode. I hate being this small little weirdo. Anyway, before we
Duck
get,
Hunt, you're right. Wow.
yeah. Guys, first, let me get this super chat here from Biff Rinaldi. I missed one from him last week. He hit me up in a DM and he said, "You know what, Fonz, you missed my my super chat." I felt so bad because I hate missing anybody's super chat.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
same.
try to do it. It's totally my bad. But Biff today, he's here and he says it's auto-tune versus audio logs today. Do you know about the audio logs?
What did he say last week? If you want to tackle that.
I don't know
do you
what he
remember what
said
Biff
last
said?
week. I don't have it.
Oh, shit.
But if
Go
you
on.
don't know the audio logs, I do the audio logs here on my show. So I could say like,
Day 68. Gas is being really weird today. I don't know how much longer I could be his friend.
stuff like that.
That was
it's just
way
silly.
too
But
well
it
done.
sounds, it sounds like an audio log from a video game, does it not?
It does.
By the way,
Sounds
guys,
sick.
this is just something personal, but I've started to audition now for video games and animations to try to voice act. So
Yes.
I put some out there. I'm hoping to do something someday with that because I think it would be really, really fun. And I'm excited for it. So we'll see.
You're gonna be wicked for that. You're made for that.
Got a super
Can you
chat.
imagine hearing your voice in a video game? That would be so cool. Think about that. I'll buy that game day dot.
Even if it's like, Duck Hunt
Death
2.0.
sounds.
What if it's a game about a little pony that you ride around and, just
I'll
sprinkle fairy
ride
dust?
the crap out of that pony.
Yeah, if it's
just
got
you
my
wait.
voice, you're gonna ride. Pause. That doesn't sound right. Don Otaku, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says Fonz Modern Warfare sold 30+ million compared to 28.3. Look it up, man. I'm telling you, that's what it says on Google.
I searched it.
Look it up. It says Duck Hunt. I can't tell you, but anyways, we got people in the chat saying they would fuck with it. Duck Hunt 2.0.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh. Yeah. No,
Well, they say that.
I swore on the show. Oh, the censor, right? I forgot the
What
censor.
the is wrong with you, man?
Yeah,
How
I should have
the
censored it.
are you doing that? Get your life in order, man.
Okay, and
Right.
I'm sorry I got to do this to you. I did it last week, and unfortunately, I have to, stop the show for a second because I've got sponsors now, so I have to play ads. Unfortunately, it's something that I have to do. So, people, bear with me. After this ad, we'll get into the rest of the show.
The following segment is brought to you in part by Plastic Wars. One platform to rule them all. Which side are you on? The ponies are on the offensive. Xbox unite. Let's get 'em. Xbox is better than PlayStation.
No, PlayStation is better.
PC Master Race.
Hey guys.
We came to play. Woo! Who invited those guys? Yeah. Anybody know what time it is? I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta leave too.
Yeah, well, I'm done. I gotta go.
I hear my mom calling.
Plastic Wars. Buy them now.
At all participating CVS stores.
Okay.
Genius.
Buy your Plastic Wars,
Wow.
figurines or whatever you want to call them, dolls. I don't care, but they're in the stores. CVS sells them. Go
Amazing.
ask for them by name. Plastic Wars. Yeah, that's a classic. I've made it in the past, but you know what? People said they like playing these types of ads on my show, so you're going to get some of these ads. All right. It pays
Oh,
the bills.
amazing. Keep
Doesn't
making more.
Yeah,
That's so good.
I need to make more. The
Yeah.
fact is you have to be inspired to make stuff like that though, Gaz.
So
and,
true, so
and
true,
it
so true.
just hits you one day. And I was watching an old episode of G.I. Joe and it hit me. I go, man, remember those old commercials? I could twist that into a fanboy war thing. That's where it came from.
Genius. How
But
your
anyway.
mind works.
Well, yours works similar ways. When we were talking about that, we listen to music and stuff and we think of video ideas around music.
100%.
Yeah.
That's how I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Don Otaku, he says, no, that's old, outdated list with Duck Hunt. It's 30 million for COD. You know what? You may be right, and I'd have to look into it a bit more. But this is the list I
get
was
a refund.
finding. But here's the thing, Gaz, you still lost because you said it was something else. All right, you didn't even say.
I thought it was
COD.
gonna. You said it was a tricky one.
You
So I
said
thought Doom,
Doom.
like a
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
one.
So he still lost that one, so it doesn't matter. Hargeet Chani says, I believe Biff's super chat from last week was shots fired. Oh, that's right. After the ad I played, he put shots fired. But hey, these ads, they just come to me. I have to play them. I got to pay the bills, so it is what it is. But let's get into some stuff where, some people might think we're fanboying here, but we're not. Xbox loses another game to delay in 2022. So, of course,
Yeah.
we've got WarHammer 40K Darktide. This
The following
one.
segment is
No,
brought to
we
you
don't
in
want to play
part
that.
by
We don't want to play
Plastic
that.
Wars.
What's going on? Anyways, let's get back. We don't want to play any of that. I don't know what's going on here, folks, but I'm hitting the wrong buttons. I'm sorry. I apologize. But anyways, we're not playing that ad again. But yeah, 40K Darktide. The developers at Fat Shark stated that they needed to delay the game to November 30th on PC. And then following that, guys, they would release the game on Xbox Series consoles. My question is, what's the difference really with the architecture and stuff? You would think that this would be easily ported over to the Xbox. Like, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, I'm sure. Well, if they could, they would.
Xbox is
So
trash,
they obviously
right?
had. Yeah, Xbox is trash. No, I mean, you've got an exclusivity deal, and Colt made a great point. I think you tweeted about it. It's like, if you're going to make these deals, then you make sure the Xbox console doesn't get left in the lurch, because it seems like, Xbox players maybe be treated as second-class citizens, especially in a year where there's hardly any first-party AAA exclusives. And this is not first-party game, but its absence or delay certainly does hurt. I was looking forward to Darktide. I know, Colt, you,
Zocker, a lot of
Zorka
dealer, everybody was
especially.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, man, it was a good-looking game, so I was looking forward to that, and that's been delayed. And I mean, there are delays all across the board, so it's just like at a certain point, everyone's gonna how many excuses are you gonna make, man? It's just like it sucks.
I mean,
it's like.
The developers
Come
need
on,
more
man.
time. They need more time. We
Yeah,
get it,
that's
but at the
fine.
same time, as a gamer, consumer, it sucks for us because we sat there.
Yeah.
We're like waiting for something big. I'm playing these
Yeah.
small indie games, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. They're very good little
Yeah.
games, but I'm ready for something big. I'm ready for something bigger,
Yeah.
And a lot of people will ask me something stupid like, what constitutes a big game? I'm talking AAA. Okay, that's what constitutes a big game for me. I'm talking AAA. I'm talking a really good, solid, open world AAA. Even it doesn't even have to be open world. It could be linear and just a good narrative and a great, gameplay experience. These smaller titles, they either have one or the other, or the budget's so small, it's just not as compelling. It doesn't draw me in as much. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel you. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a snob here. I mean, lately I've been playing Split Second, which is an incredible game. It was on sale, a 360 game. So, and I play all sorts. I've been playing indie games. I've been playing all sorts. But at the same time, like you've been next gen console. I'm still waiting for the big next gen Xbox game, and I'm
waiting for next gen. Period. Like I haven't experienced a game where I'm like, oh, this is next gen. I've yet to experience that. I want to experience that, but it seems like that's not going to be for some time. Right now, I'm going to have to enjoy games like as Dusk Falls. You know, I played it twice. You know, that's how bored I am. I'm waiting. Not to say that the game is boring. I love the narrative in that game, but again, it's basically a picture book. You know, it's not really a game. You know, you're not moving a character around. I'm playing the Road 96 right now. I wanted to say 76, and that's got a decent narrative as well. That one is more of a game, but you know, something big. And Colt said it in the chat. He says he wants something that's, you know, that makes you kind of just be like, holy crap, did you guys see that? You know, gives you that kind of moment, you know. That's the kind of games I want to play
I'm waiting for that. I want to see what is Hellblade?
KOTOR is delayed now indefinitely because they're saying now the team at Aspire are basically, I guess they fired their art director, their who was it? The art director and I think it was direction director. And if you get rid of both of those guys, those are huge guys in the development world. You know, on a team, especially a small team, I assume at Aspire, you're going to get rid of both the art and the director. You know, the direction directors. That's crazy.
But apparently, you just made me realize I didn't actually even tackle this on our show yesterday on KOTOR. That's a big one because that apparently the project's halted now. That might not see the light of day. Chances are it probably won't.
I read an article that said that there was a few employees that were interviewed, and basically they are thinking that Saber Interactive, who's been helping on the project, might take it over completely. Don't know though. I'm not holding my breath for this game anymore. I'm not.
I think it's dead. I think it's gone the way of what's that game? Phantom Dust. You know, that remake was it's giving me those vibes.
Miles is somewhere crying right now. Yeah, he's out there upset.
Crying. Good.
Because he wants Phantom Dust, of course. Shout out to Miles.
Yeah, he definitely wants that.
Oh shoot, getting a phone call. Not going to answer that on air.
That was not me.
No, last week it was Zocker that called me. Yeah, and I answered it on air. Yeah, I answered it, and he was like telling me about a game. Hold on, it's my wife. I gotta text her real quick. I apologize.
Okay, that's fine. You do that. I will.
So I'm here. I'm back. Okay.
Have you finished texting?
Okay, I did.
That was quick.
Okay.
Oh shit.
You know, I let you finish. I let you finish because it was beautiful.
That's what she said.
You hit every note perfectly. Every note.
Thank you.
Hargy, thank you very much with another super chat. Says this generation is defined by the word delay. So far, it seems that way. Everything has pretty much been delayed. On the Sony side, on the Xbox side, it's just one of those things where Sony actually was able to put out some games this year. You know, and Nintendo.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why is it that...
And Nintendo.
And I know that the games we were just talking about, KOTOR was a Sony exclusive. That's being pushed back. But the WarHammer 40K, that game was supposed to be on Xbox, and now that's being delayed. And I know that's not a first-party exclusive, but what is it about Xbox? What can they do to try to, like, reclaim 2022, man, and help it? I mean, these indie games are great, but they're not enough, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but the questions about management have to be asked. I mean, how are 343 still in the mess they are in? What's going on with delays? Why are we finding out so late? Why are even third-party multiplats going? COVID is just such not good enough. If next year anyone even dares open their mouth, I will aggressively go after them for even making any kind of damage limitation, because I hate the damage control. And you know one thing, I really hate this line, but Game Pass. I swear to
Yeah.
if anyone says the Game Pass,
Hey, how
you're
about this
playing
one?
Power Wash
How
Simulator.
about this one?
This is about.
Oh, not that one. Have you the one where he says, where they say, "Have you finished every game in Game Pass?"
Oh my God!
Have you finished
who
every
said
game?
that to me?
As if I play every game in Game Pass.
I
No.
mean, do I have to mandatorily play every game in Game Pass before I can be disappointed for the games that I'm
Exactly.
actually looking forward to being delayed? Is that the case? Does that help me when Starfield gets delayed or Redfall gets delayed or Warhammer
No.
gets delayed? Oh, I'm going to play Power Wash Simulator. Oh, because I haven't finished fucking Dead Redemption. I have to fucking... Oh, there's journalists all the time as well. Like they're like, oh, the best value in gaming. There's such a, Asa was spot on, and I didn't clock what he was trying to say on Go Live, but it's a shill line. Just, I mean, yes, Game Pass is great. It's a great
It's an
service,
amazing value.
but
But
it's not a substitute for the things that we want. You may be happy with it, but you guys will love. Yeah, Peppa Pig. People are like, yeah, you know what?
Power
Everyone's
Wash.
hating on Peppa
Yeah.
Pig, but I got 1,000 achievements. Yeah, fuck up, man. Talk about Peppa Pig.
yeah, and I realize a lot of people are playing things like Power Wash Simulator, and
Which they're
again,
fine if they enjoy it. They enjoy it.
again, I enjoy certain indie games as well. I played 2 of them recently. I'm playing one right
So
now.
Giacomo Rossi says it's simple, guys. We either crunch or we delay. Microsoft has chosen to delay, and that's not that simple. There's a question of management. Microsoft chose to delay
Facts.
Halo Infinite, but they didn't delay it enough. And look at the state it's in, that the community and the Forge community are embarrassing 343 themselves, despite the fact that they actually built Forge. In the levels that they've designed, they can't even churn out maps. What, look at your season 2. What's that look like? There's a management question to be had, and the time is running, man. If ABK is going to happen and it gets done, you think Microsoft is going to be in a better position to manage all these studios? ABK is like a whole town, a city worth of employees. If you can't get your ship right now, you are when the ABK, if the deal gets done.
And
the time is running, and
let's
I'm not
just say-
seeing a single indication of that would give me confidence in Xbox at the moment. It may all change next year. It may all change, but the burden is on Xbox to show that. And I do not want to listen to any shield lines on Game Pass. I'm sorry, you may be happy. I'm not.
Yeah, I do see that there's this perception at Xbox that most of these studios have issues, and some of them have been validated by certain journalists out there who won't be named. You named one earlier, but I don't think that's the entire case. I think you have to look at management and poor planning as well. I think that this generation. For Xbox so far, I don't think the plan was necessarily like really well thought out with all these game releases. Because
I mean, look, everything, man, hardware, the tools. Why is the Xbox? Okay, Xbox is starting to do better in power, but we made excuses for them. The tools. It's a bit of embarrassment.
The new XDKs have been out there. They've got all the tools. They're still not being all implemented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and until things like FSR and things like that are implemented into these games on Xbox, that's when we could start, really talking those features so far. Because, I mean, we could talk to her blue in the face about all these great features that are coming. If they never materialize in a way we want them to materialize, it means nothing. Look at ray tracing.
Yeah.
Look at ray tracing. Ray trace shadows. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about ray trace shadows? I don't care about ray trace shadows. Give me, the global illumination. Don't give me ray trace shadows. That does nothing, I mean, and that's pretty much what we've seen from these consoles.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's been such a limp entry to next gen when you were promised so much, and it's gone on for so long, and obviously silicon shortage and all that is exacerbating the delay on this cross gen. But I hate it. But that's a industry wide problem. I just think.
But hey, hold up! It's an industry wide problem. But we still have others in the industry like Nintendo and Sony that are able to get games out this year.
They are.
And I think that's due to poor planning on Microsoft's part.
And God of War is going to be a banger, whether you like it or not. I love it. I can't wait for that game to come out, and I think it's going to smash it. And people were against us when we called out the Starfield and Redfall delay, and I'm like, what's going on? Immediately said, yes, Microsoft's 2022 is absolutely shambolic when they don't have a single AAA first-party exclusive. Everyone was damage controlling, but the moment the God of War got announced, even some of those were like, oh, wait, Xbox, what's Xbox doing now? I'm like, oh, it took you that to realize that this is where the mergage is happening? I don't want to be overtly negative. I will say this, though. Community needs to say that, okay, enough is enough. 2022, it's an L. That's an L. And next year, you need to demand good. The games not only have to come out, they have to be good. If you're going to make excuses for Starfield and Redfall not banging, then you're going to have a tough time with us lot.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this, guys. Well, you know, it may not be as great as we thought it was going to be, but it's in Game Pass.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head there. If that happens, oh my God, people are going to hate me so much, and I don't give a shit. No one should dare say that, because you're just making the argument for everyone else. The Game Pass is fodder. And that shouldn't be the case. It should not be the case. People still have a choice to pay full price for that game. I am more confident in PlayStation delivering quality than I am Microsoft. I'm more excited about Xbox and its future prospect of IPs.
Oh, me
Their
too.
IP slate, way more interesting to me.
Yeah,
way more interesting
very
to
interesting,
me.
for
but
sure.
I am way more confident in Sony than I am Microsoft. And you give me a reason why
At
I shouldn't be.
Right? At execution, because they've
Absolutely.
done that. Brigadier's Blue, thank you for the super chat. He says, almost every major game this gen has seen some sort of delay. Honestly, it feels like games are taking much longer to make, and devs/publishers are still adjusting timetables to the new standards. Well, what standards are those he's referring to?
So, I mean, there is the whole working from home dynamic has kind of changed things. There's an industry-wide problem in gaming about crunch, and we talked about this yesterday.
A lot of people have moved back to the office, Gaz. They're doing
I
things
mean,
in
not
the
even
office.
that. I think gaming is poised to be more remote-friendly than other areas. And honestly, I think, well, I just don't.
Yeah, it could be.
The excuse doesn't flow with me. Like you adapt. In Microsoft, you adapt. You just need to adapt. With remote working and building video games, you're not in hospitals taking care of people. Like, you can do that. Like Moon Studios, when they built Ori, they were always remote. Pre-pandemic. Just adjust to it. I get it. The problem is it's not easier said than done. All of that, that's fine. But how many, excuses I'm going to take? I do agree, though. It does sound like I'm a bit too harsh on them. It is an industry-wide problem. It is affecting Sony as well as Xbox and Nintendo. So let's see. Let's see what happens. But ultimately, Xbox out of the three frustrates me the most, despite the fact that PlayStation is quite aggressively anti-consumer in many ways. But Microsoft can say all these nice things, but the public speaking is just getting a little bit tiresome and a bit thinly veiled. I feel like with you guys like your RDX, you got big personalities come on your show, and I sometimes feel like you guys are getting benefits you as well, but you guys are being used a bit because they're like they'll appear when they need to appear, which is fine. That's marketing, I guess. But RDX doesn't hold back. You don't hold back. You guys keep it real. So there's a bit like of a mismatch there. They're trying to. Well, I mean, Jason Ronald, I like the guy, but what's happened to game DVR? Why is that not working 2 years later? By the way,
I know.
What's the excuse for that?
And we've pushed that on RDX. I mean, literally, like at least once a month, we bring it up and say how terrible it is and how it needs to be fixed.
Why?
And still, and PlayStation's over there, improving upon their DVR.
Yeah,
it's honestly like a slap in the face a bit,
Absolutely.
It's crazy. But for me, when it comes down to everything, though, if I had to choose between the games and the DVR, I want the games. Damn it. That's what I really want to see materialize. But again, I understand if the developers need to delay a game because they need more time. But I just think that there's poor planning there. And even if you say, look, we lost 2 years to COVID, I get it. We did. Everybody did, though. But everybody else is managing to adapt and bring out their games. So,
yeah,
you know, you can only make excuses for so long. All right. It you know.
And if you do make the excuses and say, fine, we'll make them excuses because you benefit from the time and the excuse, then the burden is on you to smash it next year. That's added more burden. You got the benefit of the delay, Starfield, then the game better be even better than we were expecting, in my opinion, because it's that's the Boozy Cloud says, stop freaking crying. It's not entertaining. He just wants to be emotionally masturbate and join a podcast where there's an echo chamber. Let's stitch our mouth into the other person's backside and tell you, oh, Xbox is fine. This is discourse. We are not happy with it. So we don't have to pretend. If it's not entertaining for you, off somewhere else. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Such a melt.
We're not crying. We are actually being real gamers and consumers, you know, wanting better from these companies.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, Xbox, Nintendo, or Sony. If I want better from you, I'm going to ask for better. And, you know,
if we're not happy, you want us to pretend?
How many people
do that in this space?
2 weeks.
How many people do that in this space?
Yeah. And 2 weeks ago,
I'll give you the nice stuff.
Gaz, 2 weeks ago, I was on this same podcast complaining about $70 gaming. I had everybody in the chat, Xbox guys, loving it. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Nobody was yelling at me, hey, quit crying about it. Double standard.
Just double standards. Double standards. We'll keep it real. At least this is for more the discerning person who has an appetite for discourse, may not agree with what we're saying, but this is our view. You want us to pretend otherwise? We're here to entertain people. That's fine, because we want to do that, but we want to keep it real. Like Hoggy, who's super chatting, he's being generous. He went to the show. Phil Spencer watched the show. He said, "Oh, watch Game On Daily." If it was anyone else or other people, they're like, "Oh, right, if Phil Spencer watches our show, so we're gonna be pro Xbox." Fuck that! No way, man.
No,
this is why I love you, Fonz. You keep it real. I feel like I can be real with you, and the community needs people to actually speak out and not make excuses. If you think we're being overzealous or heavy-handed, that's absolutely fine. But don't tell us what not to say.
Here's another thing, too, and I'm sure you're the same way, but for myself, I'm speaking just for me. When I'm wrong on something, I admit it. I'll come here and apologize and say, look, you know, I was wrong about this. I apologize.
Yeah.
Let's get over it, you know. But, you know, some people out there can't do that. Some people just want to be Mr. Positive all the time and just give you a show full of fluff and how everything is great and how everything in Game Pass is just amazing. And that's simply not true. That's simply not true. There's a lot of great games to be had, especially if you have not played some of these older titles as well. There's fantastic games in Game Pass, but not everything in Game Pass is for everybody. That's what you have to remember.
And stop saying, don't stop saying, I don't want to be one of those people telling people what to do, but if you keep saying, oh, but Game Pass, it just sounds so lame to me right now. Game Pass is a service that we used to prop up because the value was there for those big bangers comparing day and date. What's the difference between PlayStation Plus and Game Pass? Day and date. If this 2022 has no day and date of the games that we care about, then it sounds stupid when you keep saying, but Game Pass. It's still a great service, but it's not as great as you keep saying it is. You can't pick and choose your arguments there. It's like...
And we're not trying to stand on a soapbox and say that we're better than any of you. We're not. But we will say that we're standing up here trying to make Game Pass and services like Game Pass better for you as well. I mean, we're trying to make it better for everybody by speaking about it.
Yeah, I mean, at least like I feel like that if we don't call that out, we're almost ratifying the mistakes. I'm so shocked at how quickly some people have adjusted to the 2022 showing of there was no single AAA. I find myself like, am I the only one? What's going on? I don't know. It's just weird. Ice Cold says keep the same energy with PlayStation. I was like, bro, you're talking to the guy who made the series called The Source.
We've got some sauce for PlayStation as well. It's coming soon.
Yeah.
Hargeet Johnny, thank you very much, man. He says, here's an example. Say you want to make a 4K video. If you have to upload that back to a server at work 4 to 5 times a day, how long will that take versus on premium? And no, people aren't going back to the office. there's been people going back to the office. I've heard of studios saying they're getting back to the office. So it's not just, that's kind of a general statement to say, no, people aren't going back to the office. Like, I know plenty of people who've went back to the office. So I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot more hybrid working now, and there is an adjustment period. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you, Hoggy. I don't think the excuse flows. Yes, there may be difficulties, but other players in the space are doing it. You said, by your own formula, Horizon Forbidden West released like this, God of War released like this.
Mm-hmm.
They've done it. Gran Turismo, they've done it.
Yeah.
Got 3 big bangers. Xbox has none. So why should I make excuses for Microsoft that acquired all these studios in 2018, and we're seeing forming Compulsion Games? What Compulsion Games working on, by the way?
They're working on that open world game set in some,
which we haven't seen.
Yeah, Voodoo
Coalition,
Landscape or something from the South. We've heard about it, but we haven't seen anything from it. So until we do, we can't really get excited about it much, until we see something, But Tom909, thank you for the super chat. He says, chucking a few quid for the real talk. Salute. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, really. Because again, I'm not going to say any names, but there's podcasts out there where you can go to and listen to everything positive on the Xbox Hour. And it's it is what it is. It's not my cup of tea, but if you like it, go listen. Hargeet Shani says, by the way, I still agree we should expect better. Just saying there is an industry-wide issue that will need to be factored in with the ongoing game development. Yeah. No, I agree with that too. That's true.
There's an industry-wide problem, but Microsoft needs to get its house in order.
I'm just saying, when you look at their competition, they're getting games out. That's all I'm saying. Like, despite everything going on in the world.
Phil Spencer, from his own mouth or his own tweet, says, we apologize. We know it hurts. Mm-hmm. We understand the value of quality and consistency. Yeah. So show us. Yeah. Don't say it. Show us. Next year, show us.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into PlayStation. Let's give some sauce over to PlayStation. Why not?
PlayStation. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. It's not about that. I love PlayStation exclusive guys. I just don't love them enough to spend $70. Just not doing it. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. You and Solid Rev went back and forth on this. That was,
PlayStation revenue, or their earnings in their Q1 were down. So apparently, you can see it up on the screen. They have 21.7 million lifetime sales of the PS5s. 47.1 million units of software. Anyways, this is, you can read it. Revenues decreased to 2%. Profit decreased 37% overall at PlayStation. 37%.
Yeah.
And digital software is down 79%. Or, excuse me, that wasn't down. That is the ratio. 79% are digital now there, too. That kind of breaks the stereotype over there at PlayStation, doesn't it? I mean, the fanboy rhetoric, anyway, is that they buy physical games. Forever physical, remember? Hashtag forever physical. And I've been telling people years ago that it was over 75% that are now digital gamers. Yes, most people are buying digitally. Most gamers do not buy physical games, and that's just the facts. You can say what you will, but it's the facts. Now we see that their earnings are down. Everybody's earnings, I'm sure, are down. We're not seeing anything coming out of Microsoft talking about software sales, but we've heard that Sony, their software sales are down. They said that The Last of Us 2 didn't sell as much as they had hoped. They've only sold 10 million copies. And think about this. That's PlayStation 4 and PS5.
That's bad. That's bad, man. That's your flagship title, mega title. That's since there's so many narratives that have been slapped.
Yeah, what do you think this is attributed to? Well, why are sales down like this for them?
Well, there's a multitude of different things. One, you've got the next-gen hardware. They're really struggling to get that in the homes of other people. In The Last of Us 2, for instance, there was loads of issues with the reception for it. Even hardcore ponies, and you know them, they defend anything. They're in my opinion, the worst fan base out there. But even they were very vocal about the direction that The Last of Us 2 took. A lot of people voted with their wallet and didn't really feel the story for what happened in that. So there was that bad press. Naughty Dog locked off the comment section and whatever on YouTube and all of that. It was a pretty big mess. So there's that. Generally, why people aren't buying their exclusives. I found that a bit surprising. I think that was quite a stark drop there. At the same time, I understand that PlayStation fanboys will always champion, these one and done games and exclusives like they're the be all and end all, but they don't put their money where their mouth is as far as the mainstream market is concerned.
Right? What are you talking about? They always tell me on Twitter that they buy games over there. They're the only ones that buy the games.
Complete nonsense. Explain that to me. How can anyone? I see some of the most. And I'm going to work on a source video on this, and I'm going to contact you with it as well. But it's just the double. It's such a nonsense. So your hardcore PlayStation fanboys talk about buying your games. The numbers don't say that. So just be quiet. You have 10 million of you out of 100, whatever, 20 million, whatever PS5 sold, PlayStation sold, bought The Last of Us 2. It's embarrassing. But I say embarrassing to those fanboys. But as far as the general palette is concerned, why do you think Sony's working on 10 live service games? It's for this reason. It's because multiplayer is king.
Of course.
Microsoft had it right the whole time.
Jim Ryan said himself that the PlayStation gamers weren't enough. They
Exactly.
weren't enough. That's what Jim Ryan said.
Exactly.
Not me. That you guys weren't enough. That I wasn't enough to buy a game on PlayStation. And I'm clearly not enough because I haven't bought a $70 game yet. So... But do you think that the $70 games has anything to do with that? The software sales decrease?
Definitely. I think so. The $70 games will make a big difference because for a lot of people, that's a mental block there, spending that much money. I know you kind of have a strict policy. You won't really buy a game at 70 that you've kind of, and that's fine.
And it sucks for me because I see the industry going that way. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid, Gaz. I see what's going on, but
Microsoft may follow suit.
Yeah, and it sucks for me because I don't want to pay that. Eventually, I will have to pay that. Why? Because everybody else who decided they would pay that price did. That's why I have to do it. Because if everybody decided with their wallet and said, "Hey, I'm not going to pay that price," guess what? They wouldn't be charging you $70, but they are. Because
they are. They can get away with it. So that's basically that. But I mean, it's a lot of money, and I think that will factor into it. I think the smart play is what Ace has always said was maybe the pricing should scale based on content, and devs, publishers get away with it, particularly for digital games. I don't see any reason why they should be 70. They haven't scaled back. There are no physical things to contend with. So why does digital distribution on consoles, you get a next gen tax, on PC you get it much cheaper? Why? It makes no sense. So it's just nonsense. So people defending that, I do not rate their argument whatsoever. The Last of Us remake, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because ultimately that was like, right, if you're going to defend a remake, which is basically you did a funny skit on this, a remaster of it, and defend that, then you've just ratified anything, because if that is a game that a lot of people are like, is this even necessary? And I saw you and Solid go at it. I understand both sides, man. He really wants that game, and that's fine, but I don't know. PlayStation are adjusting. They're going to have 10 live service games. They spent $3 billion on Bungie for a reason. They are trying to do what Microsoft have done in this space, because Microsoft, that may set you off, but it's coming from the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
live services where it's at. Look at Multiverses, by the way, another free-to-play game. Great game, by the way. Me and Zorko are playing it. Incredible game. I have a video coming out on that, but that game is now possibly the biggest fighting game ever because it's free to play. It's such a massive player pool, and I've spent stupid money already on it. Because Multiverse is huge. It's taking the freaking gaming world by storm. It is such a proficient Smash clone that I'm shocked by it, how good it is. If you want Smash on Xbox and PlayStation, you've got it. It's such a good game. So well designed. Yeah. And it's huge. Yeah. Huge now. Doing huge numbers.
But getting back to this,
it's free,
overall, their software is down 26%. Okay, at Sony PlayStation. So, I know that we are in bad economic times. I mean, we're amidst a recession, and we've got, other things to pay for, gas, food, and all that stuff that are just, crazy expensive right now. So that plays a factor as well. So when you do factor in that extra $10 for a game, people are thinking twice. For sure. You have to.
Absolutely.
I mean, this
so why are you defending that?
Yeah.
But this week on Twitter, we had someone who was capping for $70 games. He was actually homeless.
Oh, really? And this is why
I don't know who it is.
And this is why I do kind of, I'll chime in if somebody says, excuse me, if they say that they're willing to pay $100+ for a game. Because I'm like, come on, that's stupid to say, because
I disagree there, by the way.
No, I don't. Because if you're saying that you get other people that follow you or look to you, admire you, whatever, say, yeah, what's wrong with spending $100 on a game? And I don't want to spend $100 on a game. If people were all, out there saying, hey, I would spend $100 on a game, and they did so, guess what? I would have to spend $100 a game. I'm already going to have to spend $70 on a game if I want to play day one. It's ridiculous.
So, I see. Okay, this is Solid Rev we're talking about, and
no. It's not even just Rev. It's anybody. I've seen other people say I'd spend $100 on greatness many times, way before Rev.
Well, the thing is, value is subjective to every person, and if some people really, really glean that much value compared to anything, then that's fine.
But there's a baseline with this. We've established a baseline with gaming
that as well.
Okay, we've had $59.99 as a baseline for many years. Now you're saying this is going to be pushed up to $69.99. Why do you want to push that further?
It's not that they want to push it further. It's just that
they would, because it's greatness.
Some people would.
It's ridiculous.
Some people would.
That's my point. It's dumb.
Yeah, I understand that. And price of games, it's a deep one. I just don't want. I don't think you should be pushing as a consumer to get cheaper games. But I will say that ultimately, it is subjective. Like, someone really, really, really wants a game and they feel their money is worth it.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, I've spent stupid money on things, and my friends are like,
we've all done
so
stupid
reckless
things.
with your money.
Yes, we've all done stupid things. I've said that before.
And I said that was worth it for me. So I understand that point, but I'm completely with you. Like, you're ruining the baseline. You're going to be ratifying the money doesn't go to where you think it goes.
It's not going to the developers' pockets.
Yeah. It's not. And so stop saying that you're funding developers. You're not really doing that. It's going to the publisher.
Stop going after the developers when it is a $70 title, or they're charging you more, because it's not them who dictate the price, people. It's the publishers. Don't go after the developers. They have nothing to do with that.
Like, Returnal is a prime example. Returnal, they wouldn't have priced it as high unless, whoever their publisher or PlayStation mandated that price, which is completely off. I love that game. One of my games of this gen already. But
let me catch up to the super chats. I got Hargeet Shani. Thank you very much. He says, well, Horizon released 1.5 years late. GT7 around the same. Ragnarok is at least a year late. It's everywhere. That's true, but it's out. It's out now, and I know what you're saying, but again, it seems like Sony had planned better than Microsoft for all this.
Absolutely.
Because you can't tell me some of these Microsoft games didn't start production many years ago, because they have. And they've restarted production in the middle of the production cycle. There's been lots of problems there. And again, I think, like you guys, a lot of mismanagement. Gamer by choice, thank you very much. He says, at my job, developers working from home, and we were promised updates monthly, and we have not gotten them yet. I understand disappointment, but not just Xbox. Appreciate that. So apparently you see it on the inside, and that's great to know. But man, get those updates to these guys, man. Stat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cerebral Porn chat says some of us are really hurting to get new games that our friends are enjoying. $70 is a large chunk of money for him.
Yes, I mean it's a large chunk for me. I mean, you know, Cerebral Paul, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, just saying, welcome back, Fonz, and one day I want to do a show with Gaz. Would be a blast. Hey, you got to get him on your show.
You've done a show already. Yeah,
you have done a show with him. Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, how low do you think Sony software sales would be without the forced bundles to buy a console? That's an interesting point. I'm glad you pointed that out, Patrick, because guess what? Horizon sales, a lot of those were bundles.
Absolutely.
A lot of them were bundles.
They bundled them in together.
The Last of Us 2,
to buy it.
They were bundles. So it makes you think, out of 10 million, like, oh my gosh. They're the ones that only buy games, right? Xbox guys, and you know, they don't buy games. But Sony
they don't buy games. Yeah, you've got like even
Sony
with Halo, 20
games.
million players. Like for Forza Horizon, 20 million players. Like they're not buying them, but your metric is so antiquated. You want people to experience your games. That's the new metric. Monthly active users. Even Sony actually came out and said this quite a few years ago.
Yoshida said that himself.
Yeah,
he said that,
and then he's still clinging on to it, the game sales, and that's gone.
Yeah,
now
sales
what?
are great, but not for you and I. Sales are great for the company. I could care less really about these sales at the end of the day. I mean, all I care about is my own wallet and where I'm spending my money and what I'm ingesting as far as gaming goes. That's what I care about. Mandingo McThickens. Oh, he's graced us with his presence here. This guy, always on the Iron Lords podcast. It's great to see people come over from there. He says, I'm not paying $70 for God of War. I will wait to play it when it goes down. Yeah, me too. I have other games to play. Many. I'm just now getting into 2018 God of War. Yes, I'm waiting. Yes.
Oh man,
and
I'm
that
not
sucks.
waiting for that.
Look, I've got two games.
I'm buying a day one.
I've got two games I really, really want to play this fall: Callisto Protocol and God of War, both at $70. I'm screwed. I gotta wait. So until
game share with someone, then you can just like half the cost.
Yeah, I do share with someone that's just a little, one of those fish that latches onto the sharks in the water. That's all he does. It's my son.
That's
so
me.
He doesn't.
Colt has so many games I game share with him that I check the library. I'm like, oh, he's already got it.
Yeah, my son, the parasite. He just he doesn't buy anything. He's got no money ever. So yeah, but going forward with Sony, I mean, this is why we tell people, this is why they're going into the PC realm to help out with that. Jim told you himself, PlayStation gamers aren't enough. They are going into, the live service space. Because if one thing Game Pass has proven, it's that people are willing to pay for a service like this to consume their games. It's that simple. I mean, this is why I'm there. I would definitely go into PlayStation Premium. I would buy that service as soon as they go day and date with games. I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. I will pay the money for that. Even if it's
delayed, even like 2-3 months later, because PlayStation exclusives, I don't feel the need to play them there, say for spoilers, because the single player games, multiplayer games, you have to jump on it and experience the player numbers and all the hype. Whereas PlayStation, if they said, okay, we will eventually get all our first party exclusives in there, not day and date, but within a year, I'll be fine. That's great.
And I have to say this too. I want to point this out because I've heard people on other podcasts and chats and stuff, some Sony guys, even on Twitter, that they talk about how these exclusives, these games that Sony has are their bread and butter. And I'm here to tell you, they're not. Okay. It has never been. They make the bulk of their money off microtransactions as everybody else does. Mm-hmm. They are not different. Exclusives is not their bread and butter. So don't say that anymore.
What's their bread? It's bread and butter to them as far as their identity is concerned, in terms of distinguishing.
Oh, but when I talk about bread and butter, I'm talking about some money,
the
some
actual
cash,
bread. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that argument is going to fall away even more with the live service, with Bungie acquisition, with all the live service coming over,
think-
all of that is the same.
But here's the thing: when you look at sales for their exclusives, they're, you know, when it comes to their identity, I understand that some of those games, Spider-Man, will sell consoles, okay? But to the casual, they don't give a shit about those games. They're all about the CODs and Fortnites like everybody else on every other
Absolutely.
platform.
Every person,
That is
almost
majority.
every person I know has a PlayStation, and only has PlayStation. I have more friends who will only buy PlayStation than Xbox, and most of them don't. They're mainstream gamers, man. They play FIFA, COD, or Fortnite, or one of COD Warzone, and that's all they'll play. It's like the same thing. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. But again, future guys, PlayStation Premium, whatever it's called, their service, they're going to be putting more gas games in there, more live service games. They'll drop. I believe, Gaz, that they will sell factions, but they'll also drop it into their service day and date. I think they will.
Yeah.
Because of the microtransactions. I really do. I think that's going to be huge for their service.
Yeah.
And I think they'll have games
Quest,
like that.
I see Quest Mode in chat. How you doing, Josh? He says he disagrees with you. He says, wait until you see how many commercials for God of War there will be. That game's going to break through millions of casual gamers. That's a different one.
Okay.
So
Well,
then it
here's the
goes
thing.
back to-
What happened to The Last of Us 2? And what happened to that? Because that game
I think-
was commercial after commercial, and it was a huge game for them.
Yeah, it was, in fact,
And
it
I'm
was
not
massive,
disregarding what this guy is saying, because God of War, I'm looking forward to that game. Like, I love the first one. It's a great game, but as we see, 26%. That's how far they've fallen in software sales. There's a reason there, and I speculate that yes, you can encompass the recession, all the other stuff we've got to pay for in life, but also that extra $10 that Sony tax they're putting on each game is not doing them any favors. I really do believe that.
Absolutely. You're right.
But I hope God of War sells many, many millions. I'm not here to tell
I think
you
it
otherwise. I hope it freaking beats the hell out of The Last of Us 2, because I dislike that story so much. I hope it does gangbusters. I hope that thing sells 30 million, but I highly doubt it. I just do.
I think it'll do well.
It'll do well, for sure. Punkadish, thank you, my man. Punkadish Gaming, he says, ever think about how much game sharing hurts sales? Great show, Fonz. Yes, I do. And I actually posed this question to the man himself, Phil Spencer, a few years back. Was in a party chat with him. And I asked him about that. And here's something funny. So Tim Dog was in a party. I should not say names, but anyway, I said that. Tim Dog was in a party with Phil. And there were some of us in another party, and Tim comes in and goes, hey, do you guys want to meet, or do you want to meet Phil? And I'm like, yeah, I want to meet Phil. He's all, okay, but don't ask him any questions. What does Fonz do? I go in there and I start asking him a million questions. And one of those was about game sharing. I said, how do you guys do that? And, why do you let people do that? And you've got people game sharing across the world, essentially. It's not even like in-home or anything. I mean, you're game sharing with somebody here in the United States. So
yeah,
it's crazy. And I said, doesn't that affect your sales? And he said, no. He says, surprisingly, it actually helps with sales. We've seen a spike in sales when we've let people game share, and more people actually buy games. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah, even the publishers themselves were worried about that, and they showed them the data, and they were like pleasantly surprised. Oh, wow. Okay. Keep sharing. They don't care. Because a lot of times too, you're not one of them, Gaz, unfortunately, but a lot of people who do game share, they do tend to buy one guy will buy a game this month, the other guy will buy the other game that month, and they feel like they have to do it, like they're obligated to do it.
I do that, by the way. I do that, Colt.
Okay.
I'm not a cheapskate. I'll keep buying. The last few games I've bought, I'm just like, because Colt will buy it without telling me. I'm like, no.
And I know, because I've talked to some people, they tend to buy more games than they did when they were on their own. So
yeah,
it does help.
Yeah, it does. I do feel like, because I'm game sharing, I can get away with more purchases, and I'm very prevalent with my frivolous with my spending on game
anyway,
on the Xbox Game Store as a result of that.
Yeah, but anyway,
That's a
I've
mental
never been
thing, it's
invited
weird.
back to a Phil Spencer party after that. So just saying, just saying, he ignores
He's
my
a nice
messages.
guy.
So no, he's a nice guy,
he's
but I'm sure he didn't like all the questions. But man, you know, I'm good. Fonz is gonna Fonz, bro.
Maybe did. What do you mean?
I got
You are a force. Like, if I was Phil Spencer and he has a brain and he's obviously intelligent, who do you want to listen to? You're going to listen to the same people that you're on your shows. They're going to be nice to you and cuddle, give you the, whatever, the haze view of things, or the realistic, like, these are super passionate fans. We need to know what they are saying. There's more utility in listening to you than there is to someone like Paris Lily.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm not trying to insult Paris Lily, but it's just saying that
I do.
He's a marketing.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Here's
the thing, and I'm I will say, and stick up and say, we don't know what Paris talks to him about behind the scenes. He may ask him questions like that. He may ask more questions, even get deeper. But there is rules to the game when you are interviewing somebody publicly. And you know how it is. When you talk to somebody, sometimes management will hit you up and say, these are the list of no questions. You can't ask about this. And you have to abide by that. So I will stick up for him and say that I know. Because I've seen many Phil Spencer interviews where it's like, people are on there and they're like,
what's your favorite color, Phil?
Who cares? Who cares? But that's the kind of fluff you get in a Phil Spencer interview. Like, what game do you like playing?
They won't let you ask any proper real questions, by the way.
And
very
I get
tightly
that.
controlled.
And I get that. It's probably one of the reasons why, Aaron Greenberg didn't go back to RDX after the last time he showed, because I started jamming him up on $70 games and stuff. They probably didn't like that. And it's no hate to Aaron, but I just, I want to be real with, with these people. If I had them on my show, I would want to ask those real questions. I'm not 100%. About these ridiculous fluff pieces. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. It's so true. Thing is, they want to. I understand where they're coming from, but you don't get to benefit from saying we are very communicative with our community, because the people asking you the hard questions, you dodge them. So there's that.
Yeah,
that's fine. You're doing a lot more than PlayStation. They don't even bother communicating with the community, as far as I'm concerned. So Xbox already are way up top. Nintendo don't bother. PlayStation don't bother. So Xbox. Massive respect. That when he told Hoggy that he watches Game On daily, I was shocked. I was like, we're tiny.
Well, and it's because they want to hear from people that may not agree with him all the time, or agree with Xbox all the time, because
absolutely
they want to hear that discourse, just like
that's
anybody else
really wants to. That's why I have a bias towards Xbox, because I feel like I have more of a connection than with PlayStation. That will charge me $70 and tell me to accept it.
You know who I would love to interview, though? Over Phil Spencer, over everyone. I would love to interview Jim Ryan. I would love to pick that man's brain. Because I honestly think, and I'm going to say this, guys.
Yeah, why not?
I don't personally care for Jim Ryan. Like, he's a really stoic kind of, just business guy. That's what he is. But I think he's doing good for the company. I actually like where he's pushing them to. Don't agree with the $70 games, but I don't think that's his choice anyway. I don't think that was his decision. But when it comes to going to PC day and date, when it comes to moving forward with their service, I agree with it.
He's a numbers man, no nonsense. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I agree with it, 100%.
But at the same time, he was a bit judicious with Ice Cold in the chat, actually. For the first time ever, Ice Cold makes a good point. I'm just kidding. He goes, why did he lie? I thought he didn't believe in generations. So he's not faultless. He did lie a bit, but yeah.
But I think a lot of those things were just out of his hands. He really couldn't make the decisions, and he probably put his foot in his mouth several times before that because he didn't know what they were really planning or whatever. Yeah. Who knows? Hargeek Shiny, thank you for the super chat. He says, facts, microtransactions is a big money maker. Yes. PlayStation knows that with ABK, Of course, that being the Activision Blizzard King deal. Assuming it goes through, the majority of the COD players will be on Xbox, reducing that income. They need their own live service games. Exactly. And that's why they're putting a lot of money towards those live service games. They're creating their own in-house because they will have that there for their service. I appreciate everybody who's hit that like button, and even the ones that hit the dislike button. I see that you got 4 there disliking the show, but you're still here watching. I can tell, I can see. That's what I love about the program I'm using. I can see you guys. I know who's hitting the dislike button, and I love it. But yeah. So anyways,
you can tell who is disliked it.
Yes.
No way.
Yes,
That's
I can see.
you have to tell me who's disliked it.
Well, it's a Mac only program, so that's what I'm using here. But I gotta.
Wait, you have to send me a screenshot of that.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody in the chat, though. I really do. Thank you. Even though the guys that gave me the dislikes, I don't care. Like, I appreciate you for even showing up. That's awesome that you just listen to us.
You have to tell me who it is. Do I know them? Oh,
they've been in the community. Yes.
Oh, bro, please tell me who.
Anyways.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, we'll keep it our little secret.
There's so many people in the community I want to shit on, but
no, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but no, I appreciate them. But yeah, we'll see what they do in the future. Let's go ahead and go to our last topic. We're already over, and I knew we would be over our time limit because you and I, Gaz, every time we get together, we always go over the hour mark because you're just such a good talker, a great guest.
Yes.
It's great to have you here. But GTA 6, let's talk about it. GTA 6 has supposedly a Bonnie and Clyde sort of theme set in sort of a the Vice what was that game? Not San Andreas.
GTA Vice City.
GTA Vice City, set in that kind of era. But Bonnie and Clyde style, you're going to be a female protagonist with a male protagonist and switch back and forth. And some people have an issue because they're finally going to utilize a protagonist that's female. And a lot of people are saying it's woke. What do you say to these people? I mean, there are a lot of one I will say is this: there are a lot of incels in the community. If anyone they just don't seem to like women. So a female protagonist is the end of the world for a lot of people. It's just like, and these are sad losers who have never touched a woman in their lives, nor they will have a chance of doing so because their mentalities, they're just losers in my opinion. So you get a lot of I've witnessed it. And I do sympathize for the women in the space, whether they're content creators or gaming fans or whatever. I just think you're such sad losers in the space that you're going to cry about a female protagonist. What does that matter if it doesn't affect the craft or storytelling or the gameplay? And, that's the main thing, is whether or not it'll affect the craft. And a female protagonist in addition to another protagonist, how's that a problem? And there's so many games where female protagonists are incredible. Like Lara Croft was legendary, and there's so many, like Joanna Dark, and you even got The Last of Us. You got Ellie as well. Obviously, the story kind of faltered in the second one, but there's loads of examples of that. The problem with that is Rockstar are saying they want to stop punching down on GTA 6. And the last time I heard the term punching down was it Dave Chappelle's show called The Closer, where he was being accused by the trans community of punching down on them for the jokes he made. And this is where I have an issue with I would say. Yes, I have a concern.
I have a concern that because we keep it real. Like, so I don't like the woke movement. I just don't think I don't harbor any views towards any minorities at all. I just think the discourse suffers because you've got people on both the left and the right, and it seems like the middle are like.
And what suffers the worst in all of this? The comedy and the satire. That's what suffers the most. And that is the reason why Dave Chappelle got attacked. And that is the reason why, I hate to say it, but even some of your shtick you've done on your satirical videos and stuff will get attacked sometimes. And it's like, it's satire, people. That's what it is.
I don't care.
It's
And
comedy.
you have to be bold enough to say that I care about my craft enough that I won't let the comedy or be diluted as a result of a bunch of people on the left or on the right crying about their feelings getting hurt.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with GTA. GTA has never pulled any punches. I know recently they pulled some stuff on radio on transphobic comments. And I don't remember what they are, but maybe they were insensitive. But the point is, what's the intention behind what's being said? When Dave Chappelle was getting cancelled, I thought Dave Chappelle was hilarious. I didn't see anything. If anything, Dave Chappelle, when he told the story of the trans friend of his who ended up actually committing suicide as a result of pressure from the trans community, I never actually thought about what it would be like to suffer from gender dysphoria until I heard Dave Chappelle tell that story. Yeah. And it's just, that's the kind of thing. Grand Theft Auto is, GTA is on the upper echelon. Rockstar, to me, is the number one most talented studio in this industry, bar none. No one touches Rockstar. And I've played Max Payne, that reminded me of that. Naughty Dog, no one touches Rockstar. And one of the reasons why GTA is held in high esteem is because it's also the upper echelons of getting delivering that kind of social commentary in a mature way, mature in a different way. And if that gets diluted, I fear for who else is going to be able to do it. Who has the balls to stand up? If Rockstar
was the last, of a dying
the last
breed,
bastion
for
in that.
Yeah.
And if Rockstar caves into this woke movement to pander to whatever, then I feel like that's a massive loss. I also will say, I think it's a fad, by the way, it's a course correction. People were nasty to LGBT communities for ages, even in mainstream movies. And obviously that needed course correcting, and then it gone a bit too aggressive. Yeah. And there's this weird struggle now. But Rockstar, this is a pivotal moment for them, in my opinion, and for gaming. And they're just like, I hope as long as the craft doesn't suffer, as long as the comedy and the tone doesn't suffer and the gameplay doesn't suffer,
yes,
I will be happy.
I think because even the most serious toned GTA was, of course, GTA 4. And that still had, some satire sprinkled in.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the series has always been about comedy sprinkled in to the game. I mean, throughout the whole game, you're laughing here and there. You turn on the radio and the DJ saying something hilarious. I don't want them to lose that, and that's where I, like you, have concerns. It's not flat out, oh my God, I'm not buying this game because it's not going to have this or that, because I don't know yet. We don't know yet how far this is going to go. They could be just saying, look, we're not going to do any, jokes about a certain community or a certain thing, and that's fine, whatever.
Even that's like,
but I just want to see what they produce and what type of satire we do get, because again, concerned right now, but not like, oh my God, I'm not going to buy this. And there's a woman to play, it's just ridiculous.
The woman thing is ridiculous.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Especially Bonnie and Clyde style gaming. If you're switching back and forth, just have a ball with it. It's going to be fun. It's Grand Theft Auto. It's got to be fun. I still have hope that it's not really going to be anything, a really big deal when it comes down to this. Articles coming out about them punching down or not punching down on certain groups. I just think we're going to have a good game here. I can't. Rockstar can't do. Man, I used to say Rockstar couldn't do wrong for me. Okay, in my opinion, because I love most Rockstar games. I love their games. Yeah. You look at Red Dead Redemption 2. They're more seriously toned. They don't have as much satire or comedy sprinkled in. It's there, but it's not as apparent as Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is more synonymous with that. And that's what I hope they don't lose. I want that there. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
so you've got Mr. Xbot saying 2 cis white males should not be speaking on wokeness on how race and gender identity should be handled in any media. I'm not white, bro.
He's not
I'm
white.
Pakistan. I'm born in Pakistan and I'm a Muslim, circumcised. Is that enough for you to talk about race identity at the very least?
Yeah.
So
And
if
you
anyone,
know,
if that's directed at me, then you're gonna get clapped.
yeah.
And
yeah.
who are you to dictate? Why can't I'm glad sometimes, you know what? I can get away with the sauce because I'm not a middle class white guy. Because if I was that, I couldn't get away with half my videos, I feel like. So sucks to be white. And
here's the thing.
But
we didn't bring up any race either. We didn't bring up any race. The gender thing, we agreed about the gender thing and said that it's fine. Yeah. So if we were sitting here saying otherwise, it's crazy. It's crazy talk because we didn't. And also, the fact is, you don't, even though you see the color of my skin, you don't know any of my history, my background, or anything. But I spent the first 7 years of my life, the first 7 years of my life in another country, in a third world country, mind you. So
you don't know about
you don't know anything about our
How
history.
dare you judge his?
Yes. How dare you judge my background?
Assume his race.
Yeah.
You assumed his race, right?
Anyways, we could go ahead and just say, I hope it's a great game. That's all. But yeah. Anyways,
hopefully
this was a good show.
That, by the way, just
go ahead.
Rockstar, I was just going to say, they are also clamping down on the crunch question. Their development, the way they develop games has changed fundamentally as well. And one argument need to be made. This is a serious thing. Like, maybe Rockstar's games were good because they treated their people badly. Maybe not, but they made them work really hard. Very bad, actually.
Yeah, they did.
Genuinely bad crunch practices in Rockstar.
Yep.
People couldn't even see their families for ages. But maybe that's why Rockstar's games were so good. So they fundamentally changed that. The development and how they're, which is good. How will that affect the quality of the game? That remains to be seen. So I'm not so sure yet. Let's see.
Yeah, me too. I still have faith in Rockstar. We'll see. Red Dead Redemption still. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't that long ago.
Oh yeah.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 anyway, and it's my favorite game of all time. So I'm still holding out for GTA. I really want to play this. I love games like that. That's why I'm looking forward to Saints Row, because I love that sandbox city craziness stuff. But GTA has always been better, in my opinion, there, and I think it will continue to be better. But anyways, somebody says in the chat, Roshan says, I think they were being sarcastic when they were saying that about us.
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Xbox. If you were being sarcastic, I apologize.
I don't know what.
But
I didn't know if that was your intention. Then it's different. But if he was joking, sorry.
Actually, no, I don't think he was kidding, because he said, "Okay, sorry, Gaz, you're right." So I don't think he was kidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, you, Mr. X. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as we can have the conversation.
He's actually right here where he says losing Mr. Hauser is the biggest, issue there. Yeah, I think that'll be the biggest downfall of the game, because he was their premier writer for those games. I mean, for all their big games, Hauser was amazing. So yeah. Anyways, Colt Eastwood said Rockstar plus Xbox.
Keep praying, Colt. It's not happening.
Yeah, not happening. Anyways, that is the show, guys. Sorry we went half hour too long today, but we had a great time, man. Me and you always have a good time. Let everybody out there know where they can find you and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, check out GameOnDaily.com, Game On Daily, one word, YouTube, and Gaz on Daily on Twitter. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for watching this live, guys. Thank you for everybody in the chat today. Had a blast with you guys, even the 4 of you that hit that dislike button. And so until next time, guys, game on.
Absolutely.